So a couple of days ago, my friend Phil and I went to Insomnia 59. It's this gaming convention. It was held in Birmingham. It spanned over the weekend, so Friday to Sunday. It was an indoor camping experience. I never heard of indoor camping, so I wasn't too sure what to expect. They had very little information on the website. And we had a couple of beers before, because on the train ride there, we had kind of been searching online and saw about the no alcohol policy. So we decided to finish those. So by the time that we had actually arrived at the train station, we were pretty lit. So when we got there, we were quite drunk. First thing we did was go and set up the tent. Went through security, checked the bags, did the whole squish test. And I'd filled the top of the bottle of vodka with a little bit of water so it didn't slosh around. Probably shouldn't be condoning this, but we'd already bought it and we were kind of already on the way when we realised. So I'm going to justify it as a worthwhile venture. So got through security with a litre of vodka and a litre of Captain Morgan's spiced rum, which he had just rolled up in his sleeping bag. Mine was kind of in the tent, so rolled up and then kind of squished down, always wear protection style. So we set up the tent, quite drunkenly. I remember a little bit of it. We were directed towards section 9, which was this kind of like the furthest away pitching station, if that's what you want to call it. There was like, I don't know, there was loads. There was just, the whole room was full of tents. There was a couple of these air beds on the floor. Now, we got a little bit confused as to why they didn't bring a tent, and why they had bothered to bring an airbed instead of one, until we went to sleep, but that's a little bit later on. So we dumped off all the stuff, decided to go mosey around, We went outside, got a couple of shots of the outside of the NEC, which is where it was being held. So drunk. We'd ended up doing a couple of shots before we went back out, so, just to make sure that we were a little bit more lit. I didn't really see anyone, really, on the first night. It was quite tame because all of the events kind of finished around 6:30, which is when, all the normal day visitors would leave, and then the BYOC event, bring your own computer event, would kick in. And apparently you needed tickets to it. Phil and I kind of just walked in. Given the amount of security, I'm quite surprised myself, to be honest. So anyway, there we were, walked on in, and there was this huge, like, aircraft's hangar-sized hall full of computers, just all these lights around, and you could see all these people, like, hunched over. It was crazy, and there was this little Skype interview thing with obviously some important members of the community. No idea who they were, but there we go. Walked on in, decided to get a couple of shots, like, oh yeah, establishing shot, this is the BYOC area. We got approached by this bearded guy.
Yeah, we've been everywhere, that's it.
I ended up securing an interview, both of us quite drunk. A little while later, we were just chatting away about, different opportunities, about, the interview tomorrow and, where to meet him. And this guy kind of approached us, and he had his arm around someone else, being supported. It was like, oh, Will's fucked. He looked up at us, and there was a little bit of drool coming down his lip, and he was just like, yeah, I'm alright. He's just like, yeah, I really wish there was somewhere to sleep. Obviously, we had to get the indoor camping and weekend tickets, he'd obviously just got the weekend tickets without the indoor camping. He was pretty much just going with the flow at this stage. He mentioned something about him sleeping underneath the computer. I believe that was his plan for the entire weekend, because he had his own computer there, so I think. Unless, of course, he was just ambling about at that stage with nothing better to do, which we pretty much all were at that stage. If there's one thing I have to say about Insomnia as an improvement, it would be for there to be more universal, you know, like all access events for everyone that's participating, not just the people that brought their own computers, because I found that it kind of got a little bit stale after about 6:30. We hadn't eaten all day, which is probably why the beer had kicked me in the tit. So we decided to get a Subway. In the NEC there were 3 Subways. They were pretty much around every single corner. They must have done well for themselves. A normal 6-inch sub, which normally costs around £3.50, they were selling that for about £5 with a drink. We didn't really eat much the entire weekend, honestly. Sounds bad, but you know, at that sort of price, there's not a lot you can really do. The nearest place to buy food was WH Smith, which was kind of conjoined, and it was part of the train station. It was like, in there it was £4 for a sausage roll. So it appeared as though the prices were ramped up within the entire NEC, and the nearest place outside of that was, I believe there was a shopping centre, but again, you had to physically leave the NEC and go about 10 minutes down the road. So yeah, we got an early-ish night. We got an early-ish night on the first night, on the Friday. Woke up pretty fresh, you know, not too hungover.
I love how Block 9 is still practically empty. It legit is.
Seriously?
Like, the tent we abandoned in the middle is still just on its own in the middle.
Yeah. This is my crib. This is my corner of many clothes. This is Phil's corner of regret. This is Phil's pouch of stuff. And then just the corner of many electronics and a Game Boy. Wow, there's a reason why they call it Insomnia. It's because the floor's fucking solid. Isn't that right, Phil?
Oh yeah.
How much sleep did you get?
Probably a couple of hours.
Couple of hours, yeah. Fun.